Parvathy Thiruvothu wants to know that how do you find the core rhythm that should not be changed at all while you allow many other aspects to expand the scene in a positive manner? Like, how do you identify those key narrative beats that you cannot compromise on?
I think it again comes from what do you want to say in a scene, right? And what do you want to, what's the emotion you want to evoke in the audience? Because I think for me, that's everything. Is like I generally have a feeling in my head that I want the scene to have, and anything that takes away from that feeling, I don't do. I have to give you a great story here about one of the people that I learned a lot from is Raju Hirani, right? And Raju sir, I once directed an ad for him, which he was producing. And, I was like, it was one of my first commercials I did. And I really enjoy commercials, and back then I was like, oh, I'm just going to do a really cool cutting and I'm going to put macro lenses and I'm going to shoot it like this. And I went up to Raju sir and I was like, Raju sir, don't worry. I'm going to shoot it like this. I'm going to cut it like this. I'm going to have this kind of music. And he kept saying, wo sab sahi hai, kahani kya hai? So I'll be like, हाँ मतलब ये है, ये आएगा, ये ऐसे बोलेगा, ये हो गया. नहीं, वो सब सही है. Kahani kya hai? And I kept saying, why is this guy hell-bent on kahani? It's 30 seconds. It's going to be over before anybody knows the kahani. And he said it like 3-4 times over 2 meetings. And it changed everything about how I approach filmmaking now. What basically he was trying to say is, yeah, all your shots are fine. All your editing is fine. You can do all of this. It's all great. But what does he want to say? What does you want to communicate? What is it that you want audience to feel? And I think that's how you define the rhythm. Is like, once you decide what is it you want to communicate and make the audience feel, everything that's happening around you has to add to that feeling or has to add to that communication. And if it doesn't, it's chop chop, another great quote, this Billy Wilder quote, which I read many years ago, and it, to be honest, didn't make sense to me back then. Somebody asked him, he was a writer-director, right? He used to write with a couple of co-writers and direct. So someone said, is it important for a director to know how to write? So he said, no, it's not important for them to know how to write, but it would definitely help if they know how to read. Now, it's a funny joke, like you laugh, ha ha ha, or so funny. But I actually understood that much later, that what he means by reading is that directors should be able to read and understand the interpretation or the rhythm of a scene. It's like you should be able to read a screenplay and understand what it needs to do to evoke a feeling. And that is another thing that I'm still trying to teach myself, because, so far I've been directing some of the stuff I've written, but that's also part of the reason I love directing commercials, is because commercials generally are script written by other people. They're short, but they come to you and then you're like, okay, what do I want to say in this? And that's thanks to Raju sir. Now it's about kahani kya hai. In fact, now I ask this question to most of my collaborators. They'll be like giving me suggestion. I'm like, हाँ, ये सब सही है, kahani kya hai? And for me, that line has changed so much. It's genuinely, it's like, how when you're paying attention to spirituality or meditation, the question is, who am I? Who am I? It's the who am I of storytelling. Kahani kya hai, kahani kya hai, kahani kya hai. The more you say it, the more you find what is important and what is not.
To watch the conversations on Dial M for Films, subscribe to our YouTube channel, MAMI Mumbai Film Festival.